They told her the pain would only get worse. Doctors offered pills, injections, maybe even surgery down the line. But just 5 days after adding this one overlooked food to her breakfast, Jane could bend her knees without flinching. The swelling? Gone. The stiffness? Melting away day by day. Sounds crazy, right? That's what we thought, until dozens of others had the same results. So why are we not hearing about this food? Why is it being skipped, ignored, even mocked? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover what it is and how it could change your life. Joint pain affects over 350 million people worldwide, making it one of the most widespread health issues of our time. From aching knees and stiff hips to swollen fingers and inflamed shoulders, the impact is far-reaching, affecting mobility, mood, and overall quality of life. In fact, arthritis alone is the leading cause of disability in adults, with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis being the most common forms. And while countless people turn to their doctors for help, the usual solutions are frustratingly limited. Nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, corticosteroid injections, and even surgeries are prescribed routinely, offering temporary relief at best and often introducing a new set of problems at worst. NSAIDs can lead to stomach ulcers, high blood pressure, and kidney damage with long-term use. Corticosteroids can weaken bones and suppress the immune system. And surgery, though sometimes necessary, comes with its own risks, costs, and lengthy recovery periods. Worse yet, these treatments often only address the symptoms, not the root of the issue. It's like turning off a smoke alarm without putting out the fire. So, what's causing all this pain beneath the surface? At its core, joint pain is driven by chronic inflammation. Inflammation that's often fueled not just by age or wear and tear, but by what we eat every single day. Highly processed foods, refined sugars, and inflammatory seed oils are silently wreaking havoc inside our bodies, aggravating joints and slowing healing. Add to that a lack of key nutrients, like omega-3s, antioxidants, and certain vitamins, and you've got the perfect storm for chronic pain and degeneration. But what if the answer didn't come in a bottle or a prescription pad? What if lasting relief didn't require harsh medications, injections, or surgical procedures? What if it was as simple as shifting what's on your plate? As strange as it sounds, some of the most powerful tools for joint repair and pain relief may not be found in the pharmacy, but in the kitchen. Jane was 63 when her knees finally refused to cooperate. A retired elementary school teacher, she had spent decades on her feet, tending to children and keeping up with her own family. But in recent years, the pain had crept in, slow at first, then relentless. Diagnosed with osteoarthritis, she followed every piece of advice she could find. She took glucosamine and chondroitin faithfully. She stirred turmeric into her tea, mixed collagen into her smoothies, even tried pricey joint supplements marketed as miracle cures. Some gave her mild relief, but nothing lasted. The stiffness always returned. Mornings were the worst. Getting out of bed felt like stepping onto broken glass. She hated feeling dependent. Jane wasn't someone who liked sitting still, but the pain made even basic tasks feel monumental. Shopping, gardening, playing with her grandkids. All the things she once loved had become frustrating, painful reminders of what she'd lost. The worst part? Every new solution brought hope, and every failure took a little more of it away. She was tired, physically and emotionally. She was close to giving up. Then, on a quiet Sunday morning, something unexpected happened. Jane was rummaging through her pantry and spotted an old container tucked behind some soup cans. It was something her Japanese grandmother used to eat, a sticky, pungent fermented food she hadn't touched in years. Most people couldn't stand the texture or smell, but Jane remembered her grandmother swearing by it, calling it the food for strong bones and soft knees. With nothing to lose, she gave it a shot. That first morning, she added a small spoonful to her rice. The next day, she did it again. By day 3, she noticed something. The ache in her knees wasn't as sharp. She wasn't wincing when she bent down. By day 5, she was walking around the house more freely. No cane, no gritted teeth. She thought it was a fluke. But then she took a walk around the block. Then 2. Of course, not everyone responds the same way. Jane's results aren't a promise or a medical guarantee, but they were real for her, and she's far from the only one. What she rediscovered in that jar was more than just a food. It was the beginning of a return to freedom, And it all started with one overlooked, nearly forgotten superfood from her childhood. Chronic inflammation is at the heart of nearly every major joint issue, yet it's something few people truly understand. Unlike the temporary inflammation that happens when you sprain an ankle or fight off a cold, chronic inflammation is silent, persistent, and destructive. Over time, it eats away at cartilage, erodes cushioning tissue, and leaves joints stiff, swollen, and in constant pain. And while age, genetics, and wear and tear play a role, one of the most powerful drivers of this inflammation is something we deal with every single day: the food on our plates. Modern diets are full of ingredients that fuel inflammation like gasoline on a fire. Refined sugars, processed carbs, artificial additives, and seed oils like canola or soybean oil all contribute to oxidative stress in the body. These compounds trigger the immune system unnecessarily, keeping it in a constant state of alert and attack. Over time, this damages the lining of joints and creates the perfect storm for arthritis, stiffness, and pain. And the worst part? These foods are everywhere, from your morning cereal to your so-called healthy salad dressing. But just as some foods make inflammation worse, others can help fight it and even reverse its effects. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenol, antioxidants, and fiber have been shown to reduce inflammatory markers in the blood and protect joint tissue. Fatty fish like salmon, chia seeds, dark leafy greens, berries, and olive oil are all powerful allies. And some foods go even further, mimicking the effects of anti-inflammatory medications without the side effects. That's where it gets interesting, because hidden among the world's lesser-known superfoods is one with an extraordinary profile: natto, a traditional Japanese food made from fermented soybeans. It's not a food you'll find on most Western dinner tables. In fact, many people avoid it because of its sticky texture and strong smell. But if you're looking for a food that actively works with your body to reduce inflammation and repair joints, natto is hard to beat. Why? First, natto is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K2, a vitamin that plays a critical role in directing calcium away from your joints and into your bones, exactly where it belongs. This helps prevent calcification in the joints, one of the hidden causes of stiffness and degeneration. Second, it contains an enzyme called nattokinase, which has been shown to support healthy circulation, break down fibrin, a clotting protein, and reduce systemic inflammation throughout the body. It's rare to find a food that hits so many anti-inflammatory pathways at once: blood flow, calcium regulation, enzymatic breakdown of harmful proteins, and gut health, thanks to its probiotic content. And unlike pharmaceuticals, natto doesn't come with a list of side effects longer than its benefits. It's simply food, humble, unprocessed, and remarkably powerful. So, let's talk about why this overlooked, sticky little soybean might just be your body's secret weapon against joint pain. Natto is one of Japan's oldest and most traditional superfoods, yet outside of East Asia, it remains largely unknown or intentionally avoided. For over 1,000 years, natto has been a breakfast staple in Japanese households, particularly in the northern regions where longevity rates are among the highest in the world. It's made by fermenting whole soybeans with a specific strain of bacteria called Bacillus subtilis natto, which gives the dish its signature sticky, stringy texture and unmistakably strong, almost ammonia-like aroma. And while these qualities make many Westerners hesitant to try it, beneath the odd appearance lies a powerhouse of nutrition that modern science is only beginning to fully appreciate. The smell and consistency may be off-putting, but the benefits are anything but. Natto is one of the richest dietary sources of vitamin K2, a nutrient that plays a crucial role in directing calcium to where it's needed, in your bones, and away from where it causes harm, like your arteries and joints. This is vital for people dealing with joint pain, as excess calcium deposits in joints contribute to stiffness, inflammation, and reduced mobility. Vitamin K2 essentially acts like traffic control for your body's calcium, helping to decalcify joints and restore smoother, pain-free movement over time. In addition to K2, natto is loaded with plant-based protein, fiber, and a unique enzyme called nattokinase. This enzyme has drawn significant interest in the medical community for its ability to break down fibrin, a protein that contributes to blood clot formation and poor circulation. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients delivered to your joints, speeding up healing and flushing out inflammatory compounds that keep pain lingering. In fact, several studies have shown that nattokinase can reduce markers of inflammation in the body, support cardiovascular health, and even help regulate blood pressure. What makes natto especially effective for joint health is the way these nutrients and enzymes work together. Vitamin K2 helps reduce calcium buildup inside the joint capsule, while nattokinase improves blood flow and clears inflammatory debris. The fermentation process also adds probiotics, which support gut health, a key player in regulating systemic inflammation throughout the body. It's a rare combination: anti-inflammatory, circulatory, bone-building, and gut-friendly, all in one bite. Researchers are starting to catch on. In a study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, scientists observed that nattokinase supplementation improved joint comfort and mobility in subjects with chronic pain. Another paper in Nutrients highlighted natto's role in preventing arterial and joint calcification, particularly in aging populations. As Dr. Hiromi Nakamura, a Japanese nutrition scientist, puts it, natto is not just food. It's a functional medicine in traditional form. What's strange is not that it works, but that more people outside Japan aren't eating it. Despite its unappealing texture to some, natto may be one of the most potent, natural solutions for joint pain we've overlooked. It's not flashy. It doesn't come in a shiny bottle. But sometimes, the most powerful remedies are the ones that have been quietly working for centuries, waiting for the rest of the world to catch up. The most compelling part of natto's story isn't just found in lab reports or nutritional breakdowns. It's in the voices of real people who've tried it and experienced transformation. Across online communities, wellness forums, and YouTube comment sections, stories continue to pour in from people of all ages who gave natto a chance, often out of desperation, and were stunned by what happened next. Take Robert, a 52-year-old construction worker from Michigan. After dealing with chronic knee pain for years and struggling to go upstairs without discomfort, he began adding just 1 tablespoon of natto to his breakfast every morning. After 3 days, I felt more mobile. Not totally pain-free, but I wasn't limping anymore, he wrote in a forum post. By the end of the week, I could squat again without wincing. I hadn't done that in years. Then there's Maria, a 38-year-old yoga instructor who'd suffered from cracking and stiffness in her joints despite her active lifestyle. I was skeptical. Who eats stinky beans for joint pain? She laughed in a testimonial video. But a friend swore by it, so I tried. Within a few days, my knees didn't crack anymore during stretches. My wrists, which used to feel stiff after long sessions, felt looser. I didn't realize how much inflammation I was carrying until it started going away. Even older adults are reporting success. George, 70, shared his experience in a senior wellness group. My doctor kept pushing more pills, but I wanted something natural. Natto wasn't love at first taste, but the pain in my fingers eased up faster than I expected. I can now hold a coffee mug without grimacing. That alone made it worth it. Surveys taken from health forums and nutritional Facebook groups show similar trends. Among those who tried natto for at least 5 days, a majority reported noticeable improvements in mobility, reduction in joint stiffness, and even better sleep, likely from reduced discomfort. If this were a video, this is where you'd see a side-by-side animation. Joint pain levels dropping from 8 to 3, morning stiffness disappearing, walking pace increasing. The evidence is anecdotal, yes, but it's consistent, widespread, and powerful. These aren't just one-off stories. They're part of a growing wave of people realizing that something as simple as a fermented soybean could do what medications often can't: provide real relief. So now the question becomes, how do you start using natto safely and effectively? If the idea of trying natto makes you hesitate, you're not alone. Its slimy texture and pungent aroma are enough to make many newcomers pause at first bite. But the good news is, there are several easy, beginner-friendly ways to introduce natto into your diet, even if you think you'll hate the taste. The key is to pair it with familiar foods and flavors that help mellow its intensity without compromising its health benefits. One of the simplest tricks is to freeze the natto first, then thaw it before use. This doesn't kill the beneficial enzymes, but slightly reduces the stickiness and odor, making the texture more manageable. Another classic method, popular in Japan, is to mix it with a dab of mustard and soy sauce, then serve it over warm white rice. The heat from the rice helps soften the flavor, and the mustard adds a tangy sharpness that balances out the funk. If you want to get creative, try making natto sushi rolls by wrapping it with avocado, cucumber, and a touch of sriracha in a seaweed sheet. Or blend it into a breakfast bowl with scrambled eggs, kimchi, and sautéed spinach for a nutrient-packed meal that hits all the right notes. For colder months, stir it into a bowl of miso soup just before serving. It adds umami depth and turns the dish into a joint-soothing powerhouse. Of course, for those who truly can't handle the flavor, natto supplements are available in capsule or powdered form. These offer a convenient alternative, especially for people on the go. However, there's a trade-off. While supplements typically contain concentrated doses of nattokinase, they often lack the full spectrum of nutrients found in whole natto, like vitamin K2, fiber, and probiotics. Supplements can still be effective, but they don't deliver the same synergistic benefits that the natural food does. If you go this route, make sure you're purchasing from a reputable brand, ideally one that provides third-party testing for enzyme potency. You can find fresh or frozen natto at most Asian supermarkets, typically in the refrigerated section. It's also widely available online, either as traditional fermented packs or in supplement form. Look for brands that list the fermentation strain and avoid versions with heavy preservatives or added sugars. In terms of how much to consume, most studies suggest that 1 to 2 tablespoons per day is enough to deliver noticeable health benefits. That's roughly one small serving, which you can easily mix into a meal. But it's important to note one key safety consideration. Natto is not suitable for everyone. Because of its high vitamin K2 content and blood-thinning nattokinase enzyme, individuals who are on anticoagulant medications like warfarin should consult a doctor before adding natto to their diet. It's always smart to check with a healthcare provider if you have any medical conditions or concerns. Taste aside, once you figure out how to work natto into your meals, it becomes less of an oddity and more of a daily ritual, one that your joints, your circulation, and your overall health will thank you for. Despite its remarkable health benefits, natto remains largely absent from Western diets, and the reasons go far beyond taste. The truth is, our food system isn't built to promote simple, whole food solutions. It's engineered around processed, mass-marketable products that can be packaged, preserved, and sold in high volume. Natto, with its sticky texture and strong aroma, doesn't fit the mold of what's considered marketable or mainstream in Western food culture. It isn't flashy, it doesn't come in a brightly colored box, and it certainly doesn't have a celebrity endorsement. So, it gets overlooked, not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't sell in the traditional sense. There's also the reality of profit-driven resistance. Pharmaceuticals are a multi-billion-dollar industry, and chronic joint pain is a goldmine for repeat business. Anti-inflammatory drugs, painkillers, injections, and surgeries bring in far more revenue than a fermented soybean ever could. So natural remedies like natto rarely get the spotlight. Even when studies show benefits, there's little financial incentive to push them forward. After all, you can't patent a food that's been around for centuries. Cultural bias also plays a role. Western palates are used to smooth, sweet, and sanitized foods. Something sticky, pungent, and stringy like natto instantly triggers rejection, not because it's bad for us, but because it's unfamiliar. Yet many of the world's healthiest, longest-living cultures embrace fermented, whole, and even funky foods as part of their daily nourishment. It's time to challenge the idea that popular equals powerful. Just because a food isn't being blasted across billboards or added to trendy protein bars doesn't mean it lacks value. Sometimes, the most effective remedies are the ones sitting quietly in the background, used for generations, waiting for the rest of the world to pay attention. Natto may not look the part, but its healing potential is very real. And finally, people are starting to notice. While natto may be the star of the show when it comes to joint recovery, it's not the only food worth paying attention to. In fact, when paired with the right nutrient-dense allies, its effects can be amplified dramatically. These combinations don't just fight inflammation, they help rebuild, repair, and protect your joints from further damage. Think of them as a team. Each food brings something unique to the table, and together, they work more powerfully than they would alone. One of the best partners for natto is bone broth. Made by simmering animal bones, cartilage, and connective tissue over a long period, Bone broth is rich in collagen and gelatin, two compounds that provide the raw materials your body needs to rebuild joint tissue and cushion cartilage. It's also full of minerals like magnesium and calcium and forms your body can easily absorb. Regularly consuming bone broth, whether as a warm drink or base for soups and stews, helps maintain the structure of your joints, supports gut health, and complements natto's anti-inflammatory effects. Next on the list are chia seeds, tiny but mighty. These seeds are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which are well known for reducing inflammation and joint stiffness. They also contain antioxidants and fiber, helping to further calm systemic inflammation and improve digestion. You can sprinkle chia seeds into yogurt, smoothies, or overnight oats. Soaked in water, they form a gel-like consistency that's easy to digest and excellent for hydration, something your joints need, too. Then there's tart cherry juice, a lesser-known but highly effective anti-inflammatory food. Tart cherries contain natural compounds that act as COX inhibitors, the same pathway targeted by many nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Unlike NSAIDs, however, tart cherry juice doesn't carry the side effects. Studies have shown it can help reduce joint pain, particularly in people with osteoarthritis, and speed up muscle recovery. A small glass in the evening or after exercise can support both pain relief and restful sleep. When combined, these four foods create a potent healing synergy. Imagine starting your day with a joint recovery smoothie, blending natto or nattokinase powder, tart cherry juice, chia seeds, a scoop of collagen, and a handful of berries. Or end your day with an anti-inflammatory dinner plate, grilled salmon, a cup of bone broth soup, and a side of steamed greens with olive oil. These aren't extreme diet overhauls. They're simple, strategic choices that help your body heal from the inside out. If you're serious about reducing joint pain naturally, consider these foods not as extras, but as part of a daily routine that nourishes, repairs, and supports your joints in ways that pills alone never could. Taking control of your joint health doesn't have to start with a prescription. It can begin with a spoon. If you're ready to put natto to the test, try this simple 5-day challenge. It's designed to be easy, realistic, and effective, especially for those who are new to anti-inflammatory eating. Think of it as a short-term experiment that could lead to long-term relief. On day 1, add just 1 tablespoon of natto to your breakfast. You can eat it on its own, mix it with rice, or pair it with scrambled eggs and a touch of mustard. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. As your taste buds adjust, your joints might begin to as well. From day 2 to day 5, continue with natto and gradually introduce supporting foods known to amplify its effects. Try a scoop of bone broth in the afternoon, sprinkle chia seeds into your smoothie, or sip tart cherry juice after dinner. These foods work together to nourish your joints, reduce inflammation, and promote healing from multiple angles. Each day, check off the basics. Stay hydrated with 6 to 8 glasses of water. Do some gentle movement like walking or stretching. Include at least 1 anti-inflammatory booster alongside your natto. What should you expect? For many people, changes begin as early as day 3. That might mean less stiffness in the morning, easier joint movement, or simply a sense that your body feels more supported and energized. Even small improvements can signal that your body is responding. Throughout the challenge, track your pain level daily, just a number from 1 to 10. You might be surprised by how quickly the numbers start to drop. Small steps, big difference. Naturally, with something as unfamiliar as natto, questions come up, and rightly so. Let's clear up some of the most common ones so you can move forward with confidence. Can I take it with medication? In most cases, yes, but there's an important exception. Natto contains high levels of vitamin K2 and nattokinase, which can interfere with blood-thinning medications like warfarin. If you're on anticoagulants or have a bleeding disorder, consult your doctor before adding natto to your diet. For others, especially those on standard anti-inflammatories or pain meds, natto is generally safe and may even reduce dependence on those drugs over time. How long before I see results? Many people report improvements within just 3 to 5 days, especially in terms of reduced swelling and increased mobility. However, long-term benefits, such as joint repair and decreased inflammation, accumulate over time with regular use. Like any natural remedy, consistency is key. Can kids or elderly people eat it? Absolutely. Natto is a staple in many Japanese households for people of all ages. Just be mindful of portion sizes and dietary restrictions. For older adults, the added vitamin K2 and protein can be especially beneficial for both joint and bone health. What if I'm allergic to soy? If you have a soy allergy, do not consume natto. It's made from whole fermented soybeans, and even fermentation doesn't remove allergenic compounds. In such cases, consider nattokinase supplements derived from bacterial cultures, which may offer similar benefits without the soy base. But again, consult a healthcare provider first. Are there any side effects? Natto is generally well tolerated, though the smell and texture can be challenging at first. Some people experience mild bloating due to its probiotic content. Start slow and monitor how your body reacts. Best time to eat it? There's no perfect time, but many prefer it in the morning with breakfast or in the evening with dinner. What matters most is regular intake. Find a rhythm that fits your lifestyle. You've just learned about a food that's been quietly healing joints for generations, but never got the spotlight. The question now isn't if it works. It's whether you're willing to try something different. You don't need another pill. You need the right fuel. So give it 5 days. Feel it for yourself. And if you do, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And hey, if this helped you, it might help someone else too. Hit that share button. Someone's knees will thank you.